Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be giving a review of the Dollar General store, which is located at 301 East Thompson Lane in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, I guess you could say there's been, some interesting experiences there, especially, well, more so one time than any of the others. Well, first off, on a whole, I just want to say the Dollar General store that with this one is okay. There's a lot of Nashville stores. The friendliness is overrated, and it's not really there. And this place is no exception. I sense that this place has a lot of disgruntled employees and people that just simply aren't happy with their jobs. They feel like, well, I got to go to work, and it's okay if I frown or look disconsolate or what have you, and that's okay. And people will still come in here because they need the food, the merchandise, what have you. In some cases, that could be true, but in some cases, too, keep in mind that could also push, customers out, and they could be disenchanted by this. But the main thing is, I understand that it is a place to shop. It's not a place for small talk anyway. And generally speaking, no pun intended, is a Dollar General. Generally speaking, they do have what I'm looking for there. For the most part, I get like little like lunchable meals there. I guess that's the kid in me. I like those. They're very good, and they generally have those. What I need to get is generally there. It's not, This Dollar General is not as big as like a Walmart but it's still pretty good size store where you could still get a number of things at that place. And the thing about it is, okay, when I go there, and I'll say that the line, as far as waiting online, it's usually not much of a wait online. The checkers usually are efficient, and they go at least an average speed there. Now, what I want to talk about though in this video, what I'm incorporating, is there was one bad experience that I've had recently. This happened on it was on a Tuesday. I believe the date was it's like June 6th, 2023 at 2 p.m. And this was something. It was not a positive experience for me. What happened was I was online, and there were two or three people in front of me, and there was a checker that was getting into it with one of the customers online, and the customer may have been at fault to some degree because she was persistently trying to put in her pin, and the checker said it took her like 5 times to find the correct pin in order to complete the transaction. I guess she was doing a debit card transaction. And what was odd is when this checker got to me, okay, I'm very, efficient, I'm very quick, I don't like to, procrastinate on orders. I'm there to try to make things easier for the other customers, not harder. And so I had like four items, right? And this checker, ran, the items up, and I had done everything. I felt at least at a regular pace, if not a slightly faster than regular speed. I get she scanned all the items. I punched in what I had to on the credit card machine, and as I was pulling the bag away from the carousel, she told me I was holding the line up. I don't that see that doesn't even make any sense because how are you holding a lineup when you're in the process of pulling your items off the carousel? I wasn't prohibiting progress. It was like she stated that just as an excuse to have an attitude, to say something derogatory to me when it wasn't necessary. Now, this person, she says she's from New York, and I believe it. I'm from there as well. We're not all that insolent, though. You know, um, Some of us do have manners. She apparently doesn't seem like she has any, or does she care? She doesn't care to express them if she actually does have them. There's a thing called etiquette and manners, and thing called respect to the customers. And I had called about this. I did call Dollar General, on that same night, and somebody, I didn't speak to a manager, but the person told me that he would speak to a manager regarding the incident. That's good. I'm not complaining. I guess that's their protocol. But I wish Dollar General could do more and expound on that a little. What I'm saying is, as an example, maybe give me an update on it. What was done to the employee as a result? How was she disciplined? Did she have to face any repercussions as a result of this? You know, I know this is not her first rodeo because I've seen, the attitude with her. And I'm sure this has happened many other times with other customers. So my question is, how does she retain her position? How is she, it's almost like, there's certain people at certain companies that they're invincible to like punishment, it seems like. Is it a union thing? Maybe I could only speculate on that. But the thing about it is, but people have to keep in mind when a customer comes into the store and you don't have a good disposition and you're going to give him or her an attitude, it's not even just about the principle of acting a certain manner. You have to understand you don't know what that customer has even been through or what he or she is going through. A customer, you could have some customers where their life is such where they're flourishing and thriving and they're doing more than surviving, right? They're in a good life situation. And you know what? It might not, a bad attitude might not affect those customers as much compared, let's take someone like me, right? Now, I have a pretty good disposition, even temperament. I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. But you take someone like me that's going through some turmoil, doesn't have much going on in his life, doesn't have a significant other, has trouble finding a regular, stable residence, so on and so forth, in a very, lower stature in life at an older age. I'm going to be 53 years old soon. And here I am. I'm going through this, and I have to listen to somebody spouting off for no reason, no provocation on my part whatsoever. And I thought I was being friendly with her because I had talked to her before, and I stated I'm from New York as well. And I thought maybe that would have meant something, but, apparently, some people, I just wonder, is it something where they're just never happy? Some people are just like, have a certain manner toward everybody. And you could be as nice as heck to them, and it's not going to make a difference. It's like, somebody could also be having a bad day and coming into the store, and when you have to get an attitude from an employee, that's like adding insult to abject misery. It's kind of like, we're not going to, you're not going to block the vents on a computer when it's already overheating, right? I mean, you're not going to make things worse, on a situation than it already is, and, on a person. And especially when the customer has done absolutely nothing to deserve it. I was just trying to, get my items together and get out of there. And what happens is, another way of looking at this too goes a little deeper, because when you have to hear something like that, sometimes those things will stay with you for a little bit too. When you have to hear somebody being belligerent toward you, not everybody just thinks about it for, a second or two, and then, life goes on, dear John, and they move forward. Some people are lamenting about it for a little bit, and depending on a person's sensitivity levels. So you have to factor that in mind too. Those are things You know, and there's a thing called common courtesy and being considerate, especially to the good people like myself that have no, bad intentions. And the thing is, we have to, we have to understand that everybody has different responses to things. You could act like that toward the wrong person, and there might be greater repercussions. You don't know how, and I mean that's another thing too. You might have a customer that might respond in a volatile way, and then what happens? Then will Dollar General actually be more stringent and really enforce, more customer, people skills with the cashiers? See, people can become disenchanted and leave the place as a result and not want to come back. Don't they, I mean, care about the people that are coming into the place, into the establishment? Makes me wonder sometimes. But that's what I wanted to state regarding this review of Dollar General. And, you know, be hard to give this place 5 stars out of 5, considering, when you have to deal with something like this. But I'm willing to give it, I'll give it 3 stars out of 5. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.